very disappointed with myself. I feel like I let him down somewhere. I'm very aware, and I do know that Robert did smoke weed. I do know he would eat edibles. But yet I just trusted him in my mind, thinking that's where he would stop. And I was clearly wrong. I mean, clearly wrong. I missed the mark.
I just got the news of Mary Cosby's son from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City about Robert Jr. passing away. And I literally had to stop myself from breaking out into tears.
It's honestly incredibly heartbreaking what Mary Cosby is going through right now after losing her son, but the cause of his untimely passing is far more complicated than you know, and it seems that Mary is finally revealing what she believes happened to Robert in his final days. So Robert passed from a suspected OD, and the thing is that Mary was willing to check her son into rehab and even have him remain in prison as long as it could help him manage his substance abuse. And now she's pointing fingers at the one person she believes actively assisted in his relapse and ultimate downfall, his ex-wife, Alexana Smokeoff.
When you have a relationship with your son and you want to give him the world, you want him to have a better life than you did, you know? I picked up and moved to New York for 8 years so that he can have the best education. He could be in a diverse atmosphere so he wouldn't be raised like I was raised. I was the only one in my class that was African American. They would play slave movies and the whole class would turn around and look at me. And I do blame myself. I feel like somewhere I missed the mark on.
And if there's one thing we all know about Mary Cosby is that from the time she's been on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, it is how much she loved her son, Robert Cosby Jr. She always talked about how she had him after 4 years of trying and how he wasn't merely her son, but truly her best friend. So when the news broke that he had died at just 23 years old, Mary's world was essentially devastated and forever changed in a blink of an eye. A spokesperson from Mary and her husband, Robert Cosby Sr.'s team, released a statement saying, "Our beloved son Robert Jr. has been called home to the Lord. Though our hearts ache, we take comfort in God's promise and in knowing that he is finally at peace. We are grateful for your prayers and trust in the Lord to carry us through this time of sorrow." Fellow castmates from the Salt Lake City franchise have also reached out to Mary both publicly and privately with expressions of condolences, support, and promises to be available should she need them during her time of bereavement. And as much as this news has stunned many of us into silence, for Mary, there's some things about her son's passing that really don't add up and are giving her cause for pause. Salt Lake City police confirmed that when they initially dispatched to Mary's home in response to an OD call, they found him already deceased at the scene. And the truth is, Rob had been very transparent about his struggle with substances such as nose candy, Xanax, and Molly from about right around the time he turned 16. Initially, he indulged recreationally, but after he dropped out from school, it quickly became a habit that he was no longer in control of. Mary mentioned that she hadn't realized what her son was up to until she began to notice that he was more withdrawn and isolated than usual, and she decided to investigate.
I love you more than anything. More than anything in this world. I think I love you more than Dad. Like, don't ever tell Dad I said that.
Oh.
But you're my friend. You're my son. You're my gift. God gave you to me. You're the only thing that ever made me happy. Before I had you, I was never happy. You came and you were so real. You was everything I hoped for in a person.
As soon as she found out, Mary swung into action immediately. She addressed his addiction head on, and Rob had checked into rehab. After Rob got arrested, Mary mentioned that it was even better for him to remain in jail where she knew that he wasn't using or at risk of engaging in anything that would be harmful to himself in the way that he would be if he were unsupervised at home. And while Mary was doing everything possible to save her son, there was one person who never fully left the picture. Robert Cosby Jr.'s wife, Alexana Smokeoff. Robert and Alexana's relationship has significant history. They began both dating back in high school during the same time that Rob got hooked on substances. And what started out as casual partying and hanging out eventually became routine. And as they got older, the substance abuse became a huge part of their bond and relationship. They both shared numerous posts online where they were either taking those candy pills or prescription bottles of cough syrup that were being accompanied by mixers such as Sprite or other clear carbonated beverages. So by the time they got married in 2022, the damage was already done. Now, even Mary really didn't know when Alexandria and Robert got married until the police showed up at her Utah mansion accusing her of harboring a minor. And that's when Mary caught on to what was happening and let the two of them know that she was not having any of it.
You look cute.
Hi. What's going on? When's the last time you picked up?
Probably like an hour ago.
Oh, you straightened up an hour ago?
Yeah, just recently.
And did you drink out of that bottle an hour ago?
Yeah.
After Rob was pulled away from Alexandria through therapy and through their divorce, his condition improved. He gained weight, he became more present, and showed more signs of progress. But one thing Mary noticed was that every time Alexandria re-entered into his life, that progress didn't last long. And that wasn't a coincidence. Mind you, Robert had already told his mom that his main problem was distancing himself from his friends who were also using, especially when they started relapsing, and one of those he struggled to get away from was his ex-wife.
All the people that I was like cool with, they all relapsed.
Sources close to the situation mentioned that even after the marriage ended, Alexandria still had direct access to Robert, so the closeness and familiarity never went away. But that's not all, y'all. Some of Rob's worst relapses reportedly happened shortly after reconnecting with Alexandria, and moments where he should have been focused solely on recovery became moments of complete chaos. Whenever he stopped communicating with his ex-wife, Rob would reportedly regress heavily and he would begin acting out again. It even got to a point where he got arrested for going to her family home because he thought she needed him to rescue her. Now, Mary believes that apart from his addiction, Robert's struggle with his marriage also contributed to his passing, but she can't help but wonder if he would still be here if he had never met Alexandria. Sources close to her report that she is completely broken and wishes that she could have done more to protect him from the likes of enablers like Alexandria. And with what Mary has going on right now, everyone is completely heartbroken for her and just wants to be there for her. And people have been showing their love by saying, say what you want about Mary Cosby, but you can tell she loves her son deeply. She poured so much of herself into him and truly wanted the best for his life. To see what Mary Cosby has been through her whole life, you know that Robert Jr. was her only baby and light in the dark. For her to lose her only son at 23 years old is devastating. I can't imagine what Mary Cosby is going through. He was her only child and she considered him one of her best friends. But what do you guys think about this tragedy? Sound off in the comments and make sure you hit that like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, baddies.